Hi, welcome to Bee's Finest. It's me, Vanessa. I hope you like this video I made for you today. Hi, welcome to Bee's Finest. It's me, Bee. And today I'm going to show you how to turn fresh eucalyptus into preserved eucalyptus, which you can use as decorations for your Christmas tree or for other areas of your house. Now, before you put your fresh eucalyptus into the glycerin solution, you have to make sure first that you already prepared each of the stems, okay? So if you can see, it's already. Using your garden shears, first you cut on the diagonal, then about an inch or two cut in the vertical. I also use this method when I want to preserve my roses. This is harder to do in smaller stems. For the glycerin mixture, make sure you only use vegetable glycerin. The standard mixture has a ratio of 1:2, 1 part glycerin to 2 parts warm water. This will preserve your eucalyptus for 4 weeks. If you are rushing and you want to preserve your eucalyptus sooner, then you can make it a 1:1 ratio. The reason I don't do that is because I'm also trying to preserve some of my glycerin because it's not easy to come by the stock. And I don't want to finish it all in just 1 or 2 batches. So for this particular measurement, this is for a smaller vase for the shorter cut stems. So I'm only going to be using 1 cup glycerin and 2 cups warm water because I'm going to be putting this in a smaller vase. Transfer these to the mixing container and use a spoon or a wire whisk to combine it. Just whisk away. Please excuse the dogs of my neighbors. They're so noisy. So now I'm going to transfer this mixture into this smaller vase. So now I don't know where that flush came from. Anyway, so feel free to use a nicer vase so you can use that eucalyptus while it's preserving and put it inside your living room or your kitchen. So these are 2 sets of eucalyptus that I have been preserving. The one on the left has been preserving for 6 weeks in the glycerin mixture using also the 1:2 ratio, while the one on the right has been preserving for only 3 weeks in the glycerin mixture. Now I noticed, since this was my first time to do this, it was really completely experimental, and I discovered that the ideal time is just really 4 weeks because this one on the left, as you know, I just mentioned, it was preserving for 6 weeks. Therefore, what I noticed that the leaves were becoming oversaturated with the glycerin mixture. They were actually seeping out. As you can see, the color has changed from the sage green. Now it's become more like an amber color, which is actually the glycerin already. It has already gone all the way up. This one on the right side has only been preserving for 3 weeks, and I really feel that the leaves are starting to get a little bit more leathery, which means that the glycerin is already going upwards, yet it is not yet seeping out. But I still feel that it needs to be saturated a little bit longer for about a week because the top ends of the leaves are still a bit dry. Another thing I also observed, which is very important, is that the moment you receive your eucalyptus from your florist, you have to preserve it right away. Because what happened with me with the second batch, the one on the right, when it arrived, I did not preserve it immediately because I ran out of glycerin. And it took me a couple of days to go out and get some. And so when I already put the eucalyptus into the glycerin, the leaves had started to get dry already. Although it still got salvaged, I was still able to save it. Still, compared to the first batch, the one on the left, the one on the right is a bit drier, and hopefully it will become just as supple as the one on the left. So that's why I still feel it needs 1 more week. So don't forget that, guys. That is a really important tip. The moment you receive your freshly cut eucalyptus, you have to put it in the glycerin mixture as soon as possible if you want to preserve it while it's still fresh. Okay, guys, got that? I also bought myself a eucalyptus plant, although it's indigenous to New Zealand. They already allow it here in the Philippines. I'm here in Manila, as you know, and I planted it in my garden, and luckily they are thriving. I love them so much. They're so pretty. I'm going to put more. The spray paint I'm using are acrylic-based spray paints. You'll need a couple for like a bunch of eucalyptus. I used about 4 cans of red and 2 cans of gold. So I just alternate between red and gold because I want to achieve this antique finish. So I put some have more reds and some have more golds. The red I'm using for this is just the basic solid red color. But for the gold, I used a more matte type of gold shade. Don't forget to use a mat wherever you're working because, as you know, spray paint can get all over the place. And don't spray it too near the eucalyptus so that the paint won't clump up. So after spraying it, I let it dry for about 30 minutes to an hour. I noticed for some reason the gold dried faster than the red. Of course, it all depends on the brand you're using for the spray paint. So here I put out the reds on the table, and I just wanted to show you how it comes out after. So as you can see, the red is so red and the gold is just a perfect matte gold, but the red still has some tinges of gold here and there. You can use any color you want for other purposes. Hello.
Are you the eucalyptus painted?
Yes.
It's so beautiful. It has red and gold. Is that gold or is it silver? I don't know.
That's gold, baby.
Oh.
So here they are. See how pretty. So these eucalyptus are still preserving, but it won't reach Christmas anymore, but that's okay. So I'm going to be using this next year for other purposes. But in the meantime, these are what's left of the red eucalyptus I painted, and I'm going to be filling up my tree more in areas that still need more fillers. Fillers really do wonders to fill in the gaps of a tree, especially if your Christmas tree leaves are starting to all get scraggy, like mine. They also make your tree look a bit bigger and wider. It's like an extender. Now I'm going to show you how I use the eucalyptus in my table centerpiece. Let's go! So now I'm going to show you how I put together this very festive centerpiece using the eucalyptus, which I preserved and colored earlier. I also decided to use the same color scheme I used in my Christmas tree so that the look of my dining table will be unified with my Christmas tree. The colors I used were red, gold, and white. Even my china and my silverware and my stemware are all matching that theme. What's important is that you have at least one color to unify this look. In this case, it's gold. First, make sure that your runner is completely in the center of your table. This table I'm using is a square table. Now, get your eucalyptus or whatever fillers you have and make the ends of the stems both face each other at the center point of your runner or of your table. So all the fillers have to be pointing into that center point, and they'll be going around it so that that center point is where you can put your centerpiece, the star of the show. In my case, it was a crystal bowl with a brass caddy and a candle. So here I'll be using fairy lights that are battery operated. I prefer to use this kind of lights so that I don't need to plug my Christmas lights into a wall socket. Unless, of course, you have a socket under your dining table, then that would be very good. But if not, battery operated lights would be perfect for a centerpiece setup. You can just always hide the battery pack under the fillers. So just weave around the other fillers through the wire of your lights. I'm putting now gold, more like a champagne gold type of filler. You know, fillers are very versatile. You can even put this centerpiece on your buffet table, on top of your fireplace, on a console table by the entry of your house. I also have a different kind of red fillers which has like more like a berry fruit-like design. So testing the lights, making sure they're evenly spread out. Then I've now put plastic white eucalyptus fillers. They actually look pretty good in spite of the fact they're fake, and having to incorporate plastic into the more organic preserved eucalyptus makes the plastic look a little bit toned down. So, you know, just choose whatever fillers you like. Just try to always make sure it's balanced. Whatever you put on the left side, you also put on the right side. So the opposites have to be a bit balanced in terms of at least the number of elements you put in. So here's my crystal bowl with a brass caddy. I have food for the gods in them, and I also put a fake battery operated candle. The reason for that is my neighbor's house a few years ago burned down to the ground because of an unattended candle, and it really traumatized me because our house also almost burned. Thankfully it didn't. But since then, I've been a bit paranoid about using real candles. Here are some goblets. These are Murano goblets that I put into my centerpiece just to add some height and another element in there just to make the look more elegant and more decadent. And here are two bells that I also put in, which, as you know, bells are always used for Christmas themes. And then I'm also using these plastic metallic balls in champagne gold. Of course, they make the whole look just so pretty. Then, you also, every so often, try to fix the lights so that the wires are not really coming out. I love champagne gold because they are so classy. They're almost like peach, and they really go well with warm setups. So here are the lights. Lights on. Looks so cute. You don't have to make it 100% organized and perfect. Having a little bit of messy look makes the whole setup more fun and natural. And it will also make you, as a decorator, relax a little bit more so that you won't be too OC and too OA and dramatic with your family members, and you won't be too stiff also. So these are food for the gods, which one of my neighbors made, and it's so delicious. So even my china is matching to the theme. These are Royal Albert vintage Old Country roses. The salad plate is actually from the Four Seasons series of Royal Albert. And the dining table is the classic Old Country roses design, which all vintage plate collectors know is a must-have classic staple. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I had so much fun making this video. This is just the second video I have here at my YouTube channel, Lee's Finest. I will also be coming up with more articles and content in my website, leesfinest.com, which is coming out soon. So if you have any comments or suggestions or questions, feel free to just comment below. I will try my best to answer all of them. And if you like this video, please don't forget to press like, and if you want to see more, then please subscribe. I will really try my best to come up with videos that will help you live a wonderful life each day by just celebrating the little joys in everyday things, big and small. So this is Vanessa of V's Finest saying advanced Merry Christmas, and I hope to hear from you guys soon.